And today we're going to look at AI. 2026 will be a formative year. It's going to be the best year ever, like all years, but this is going very fast. And I myself is an AI entrepreneur for 10 years, trying to really explore and commercialize for real all these technologies. So I started up in my father's company, a golf course in Varberg, Hofgård, if you play golf. Any golfers here? Yeah? Yeah, I'll hook you up with a good course. Sweden's first ecological one. And I've been doing some virtual reality for Nobel Museum, prize in physics, some AR games for Stena Line, also live streamed esport, the largest events in the world, and Digital Gothenburg, Digital Twins, and also produced both industries VR cinemas very early before you could actually do it, and also arcade centers for entertainment as a service. And mostly recently, I've been in charge of all our AI internal projects for Nexer, consulting firm. So this is just, I'm at the forefront trying and breaking things with real cases. I pick my collaborators, like I stand here today, with people and corporations that actually is moving the needle and trying. Otherwise, without the mandate, we can't do it. Very happy. And AI Gothenburg is really an initiative to lift the entrepreneurs, not just in Gothenburg, but in the Nordics, in Sweden, to put the voice in Europe for real. So we already have some epic Swedish entrepreneurs. Just if you look at Anton, who's behind Lovable vibe coding platform. Do you know it? Have you tried it? Hands up. Great. He actually built a company in 1 year with a similar type of valuation like the big industry corporations of Sweden for decades, right? So this is why we are here today, and this is why you should really, charge into this. I'm gonna look at this from a SWOT analysis. So we have some major trends within the AI, and this is how we structure it. The strength are the AI capabilities, the weakness is your organization. And the opportunities are immense, and around learning and innovation. And then you have some threats who can take a toll on this, around ethics and geopolitical stuff. So we try to swoop through all of this very fast. So no questions, but I love to talk to you afterwards, Olo. And of course, I couldn't help myself doing some AI here. So we're going to look at some capabilities, some actual real benchmarks, use cases. And the first one we're going to look at is the speed. I just want to emphasize this. Speed is crucial in the age of AI in this year, and it's going exponential. And with this simple old illustration of how the scale-out, build-out of solar panels in the world, this is traditional hockey stick, but the actual organ that's producing the prognostics of how will the build-up be next year. They are failing every year. So the actual build-out is the hockey stick. Their predictions are the horizontal lines. Oh no, it can't possibly go any faster than this year. It will probably decline next. And they have wrong every single year. And these are not stupid people. That's the best in the world for doing this. But we think in linear terms in our human minds. If we take 30 steps, we know exactly where we end up. But if you take 30 doublings of a step, 1 meter, you get to the moon and back and more. So it's impossible to think, but we need to challenge ourselves and we need to help ourselves in this room through these months to think like this. Another graphical example, you probably have seen this Will Smith movie, but this was AI video up until 2023, more or less. And now, you have with one voice, you get everything you hear and see here. People said this was impossible, and everybody was surprised that it actually worked. And then you have IQ. There are several ways of defining IQ and smart and stuff like that, but the trend here is the important part. 2024, this is IQ test of Norway. I don't know if that makes a smarter and dumber the model, but the slope here is interesting. 1 year later, you have lots of more intelligence infused in these models, and there are lots of more of them coming as well. So regardless if this is 100% true or not, you can see where we're going. And to put the evolving intelligence on a staircase, I put it like this. So you have the traditional perception machine learning down left, and then you have more smartness moving up to the right. So if we have a real benchmark from reasoning and output, we're going to look at OpenAI's latest benchmark, the GDP val. And this is actually looking at 44 occupations, the 44 occupations that's actually producing most value to the US GDP. And they look at 1,320 tasks, which is output tasks. It could be building a presentation, having a diagram or analysis, something that is an output. And then they put these tasks to ChatGPT and to an expert in the field working with these occupations. And then they have an external evaluator, don't know what they're looking at, and they look at which one do I prefer. And the stunning part that took me back here is that you actually have 70% of the times the expert took the ChatGPT stuff output instead of the human who's actually been working with this. So let that sink in. You all have access to this model. And they also did it in 1/11th of the time and 1/100th of the cost. So this will actually give you speed of decision, faster speed of execution, which you should bring with you. And this is just on the reasoning and output stuff. If we move up to the next level, so no? No? You already know this maybe. But if you take the next step up here, you look at models that looking at outputs and information and are acting within constraints and also taking digital actions in software. And here you also have the benchmark out there, which is pretty interesting from, and this is called Alpha Arena. And here the chatbots get $10,000 to trade on the stock market with new human interventions. And what's interesting here is that Grok actually performed 12% return in 2 weeks, while the other models failed, losing 3 to 5%. So this is quite interesting. And by doing this, they also beat all the traditional machine learning models that is mostly trading the stock market, which is also interesting. So, and they probably succeeded in doing this by having the real-time sentiment from X. So they see they hear and feel the pulse of the world in contrast to the technical analysis and the smartness on top of that, and they can make change before the traditional smartness go in. So this will probably disrupt some trading out there when this is working, but it will also give you the power of how do you structure these experiments? How do you frame these systems so they actually work? And the third benchmark, we look at how can these models take action in the physical world? And this is actually addressing, we have a real-world robotics case which is addressing the largest occupation in the world, which is driving. And most people don't think that this is working. But in the US, you actually have Waymo already producing 250,000 rides every week. Taxi rides, fully autonomous, in 4 cities. They are, however, operational design domains geofenced, so they can only drive in specific cities and streets producing these services. So they scale city by city, and it's quite costly and hard, but they are paving the way on the consumer side. And then you have Tesla on the other hand side. They're focusing on scale and speed. And they actually already have billions of full self-driving miles as training data. And they also have in between 6 to 10 million robots out there collecting data. So they're actually scaling their proprietary information and training data with the services they produce, which is a very interesting business model. And they can, when they get this to work, if they get it to work, 2026, Elon says so, I don't know, we'll see. But they can update the entire fleet with a push. And they scale region by region, or country by country, following the regulations rather than technical boundaries. And they also have a very high vertical integration in their industry. So they control the supply chain, they build the batteries, they build the ships, they control the design, they control the entire stack, which lets them to produce 2 cars a minute out from their gigafactories. So this is industry scale and speed. And NVIDIA actually released 2 weeks ago from CES, their open source model for all the automotive makers out there who's not keeping up the speed. So they can sell even more chips. But I don't tell you this because robots going to take our jobs, or you need to invest in self-driving cars or boats or whatever, right? I tell you this because this will enhance your abilities to execute and make decisions and move faster into the future. So what I urge you to, and you're already here, so I urge you to act now, not tomorrow. And I also urge you to identify how will these different capabilities, we're talking about AI capabilities, how can you infuse them in your business? And also, how do you align this to your actual core business model? So it's not just going to be pilots, okay? And this is happening faster, just as a reminder. Are you sleeping yet? I took away the humor and all the jokes because I wanted to get through all the important benchmarks. And next section here, chapter, will be the weakness, the culture. Because the adoption is very hard. I mean, we have linear minds, we have exponential tech that's also stacking, compounding several techs we built out and scaled out for years. And just to give you some numbers from Boston Consulting Groups and McKinsey, you have, this is relevant for you leaders in the room here, if you are an engaging leader who's walking the talk, you double the AI adoption within your organization. It's interesting. One individual, one leader can have this impact on the entire organization. But only 50% of the employees is actually using AI in a daily work, or frequently, regularly. And more importantly, maybe 50% of the very top performers, they are working with redesigning your core workflows. So most people, organizations, they just implement AI tools. And then you have this very small top performer achievers, and 50% of those, they actually implement it in making the business better. Very important distinction there. And then you have 62% say that they are working with experiments, but they also are stuck in the pilot stuff. They don't have the governance and the prioritization to make this actual business value. So this is some metrics from last year on the control side. So why have we ended up with these numbers? Why aren't we better? Any takers? Maybe not the groundwork. And also, we have an immune system in all large organizations, because large organizations, they're built to resist change. And they scale through efficiency, predictability, control, and hierarchy. So you have a fear instilled when AI is just breaking the operating system and giving you entirely new capabilities. Redesigning workflows, incentives, and entire business models. So this is an immune system reaction which you need to address. So you need to have an operating system that can deliver change fast enough before the immune system kills it. And you wonder maybe, how can we do that? We've been trying to do that I've been there myself as well. And I mean, there are lots of different schools, and the most important one is maybe just to pick one and do it. But my take on this is that you work with edge disruption. You have your core business, and then you have your edge disruption. The edge is small teams looking at the former. What will disrupt this industry? What type of capabilities are coming? How can we address those? How can we infuse those in our existing core ways of working? And those small teams should be directly connected to the CEO, bypassing the immune system. And then you have the core innovation, and this is where the magic happens. This is where you really make a change. And here you are redesigning the existing workflows that you identified. And your experiments are properly governed and sought over. And the leaders here is not visionary, inspirational ideas makers. The leaders here are removing friction within the organization to make the change applicable. My 2 cents of how to address this. And then the challenge. You've actually already done so much good stuff here, Sten. I'm so proud of being here together with you, actually. And you have already an AI policy, for example, which could allow you to say what's allowed and what's required of you as an employee here. You have training where you can onboard new and existing employees in the new way of working, moving forward. And you also have a community that can spread the word of the good cases that actually endures. You have a great platform to build and scale from here already. And what I would urge you to look into is how can we improve decision speed? Who can we give mandate to actually execute and decide what to kill and what to scale? And what core processes do we actually need to redesign? No pilot, AI first, core processes. And they need to be governed properly with short cycles and iterations. So this is an idea how to move forward. Moving very fast into the opportunity side regarding innovation and learning. So if you have the AI capability, if you have the organizational functions that actually scale these capabilities, you have enormous opportunities. Enormous. And here I want to stress 3 things within this section, pretty fast. But first thing is this, entrepreneurship. You need to have an entrepreneurial mind. You need to both think different and act, take action, do stuff, okay? You still need to govern them properly like we told you, but this is a crucial part to bring with you. Be bold, it's a leadership thing, cultural thing. And I want to give you one example from Lovable, which we mentioned before. They have these hackathons, how you build new stuff in just one day. And one of the winning teams produced this, just one day.
My team and I built, launched, and then sold our company within 20 hours.
We're in Sweden. Hey, redo that.
Project Lovable is a 20-hour hackathon happening in Stockholm next Tuesday. The team who achieves the most unreasonable amount of progress takes home $20,000 in prize money.
So we thought, what's more unreasonable than to build, launch, and sell a company all in a single day? We called it the 20-hour company. Meet the team. Together, we've won 25 hackathons in the last 6 months. Everything from test robots to AI voice agents. If it sounds crazy, you've probably built it. So we turned to LinkedIn and asked you guys what we should build. And things went crazy. We had a ton of interest, and this guy Brian commented this. We've never met Brian before, so we jumped on a call, and after only an hour, he believed in us so much that he was ready to acquire us for 20K. The product? An agentic lead generator. You just connect your accounts, and the agent goes through your entire network, finds leads, and messages them for you. Pretty damn neat. To promote it, we needed a great video editor, so we brought in our buddy Ashkan. And to make it even more unreasonable, we gave ourselves the challenge to get an extra 20 sponsors to back us. So we flew over to Sweden and locked in. First, we raised 6K from 20 sponsors, including from the CEO of GoFundMe, angels from OpenAI, and top VCs. Then we thought, what's an even more unreasonable thing to do? Let's go viral with this. What about collabing with Cluely, the world's most viral startup? A ton of messages later, and we get a call from Cluely saying,
only if you get us a lead. 2 hours later, they built an entire lead generator, and now we have a new client.
on top of that, we got people signed up, making 20k in revenue on our first day. Then, with only minutes to go, we finished the product, and Brian's company Revel acquires us. The result? 6k from 20 sponsors, 20k in revenue, and we sell the company for, you guessed it, 20k. And we did a few other things. Our team set out to prove that Europe could achieve things that have never been done before. And we did.
So what's next?
Well, if you've got funding and need your dream built, let us know. DMs are open.
Okay, nice.
Smashed it, guys.
DMs are open. They should work with you. So they actually made and they also won the hackathon prize money as well. So they almost brought in 2 million Swedish kronor in 20 hours. So this is what talent looked like and execution. And this is also leaning into the next thing I want to highlight here. Learning velocity. This is probably the key metrics you need to keep track of moving forward. Because the faster you learn, the faster you can execute, and you'll build this exponential momentum. And it's all about, thank you ChatGPT. Learning happens after action, speed beats accuracy, and feedback beats planning. Couldn't say it better myself. And the third part I want to stress within the opportunity side is that we have some levers, some compounding effects here, which looks a little different in the age of AI than we are used to. Maybe you recognize the words, but the meaning might change. In a world where everybody can produce anything, trust is a scarcity in this abundance world. Your personal network will take new action. It will be more alive. Human first, right? Because I know you and you know me and we know what we can do together. And the next extension for that will be the community, the partners, the customers you have, the people you can co-create with together. Those type of communities will also scale in the world of AI faster. And technology is not the traditional SaaS moat, because you can build a SaaS company with Lovable, but you might not have the trust, the network or the community to scale it. But the technology really takes you back to the rate of learning. How fast can you make decisions, implement, execute these capabilities in your organization? And you see data a little on the edge there. That's not traditional data in the public sense, because chatbots already know most of the data. It's your proprietary data. And the best thing is to have a service that produces the data that's building your training sets forward. That's my 2 cents about some of the levers and that's changing the world. And when we look at changing the world and the threats, looking at the ethics and geopolitical world out there, couldn't help myself. So fun. We have two polarizing views. Just briefly, you have the doomers and you have the abundance for all people, and the reality is probably somewhere in between. But what we see now is that the godfathers of AI, Jeffrey Hinton, for example, Nobel laureate, is stressing that we're putting too small amount of money on the actual safety alignment of the models, because capitalism is pushing it forward too fast. And this is a concern. And we also have an observation that technology is moving us into a better world. We're not fighting to survive anymore. So it's getting better in that context. But we also have polarization of the world's power and money and capabilities. So you have maybe 1% of the world controlling 50% of all resources. And that will also scale with AI. But on the other hand side, on the optimistic side here, you also have the lovable team. You have the entrepreneurship. You, as human beings, can actually make a dent in the world for real with these technologies. But all the things you see in the news, some of them are actually controlled by what's happening now. And one of the narratives is most intelligence wins. So US they are racing for American superintelligence in the war against China. This is how they talk in the news. It's pretty crazy, actually. But to do this, build these capabilities, you need 4 resources. You need money, computing, energy, and talent. if you're a country, if you're a company, these is are four core properties you need. And when US do this, they just pump $500 billion into building. This is equal to our BNP, by the way. So quite a lot of money they print to build these huge factories, large as the Manhattan Island are they planning for. And the gigawatts energy they need to build this or to maintain this is equivalent to maybe 5 to 10 nuclear reactors. So the scales here are enormous. Just to look at the solar power, in Sweden we have 5 gigawatts. In US they have quite a lot more. But the build out, the scale out here, they're producing this very much faster. So maybe 250 times faster if my math is correct here. And the China is actually producing every year equal amount of the entire US solar power park. So the scales are here. If you look at Europe, China, and US, this is the geopolitical struggle, the things we see in the news, and things that will get real impact in your businesses. Just mention the tariffs, latest part. So US controls money, strongest capital market in the world. They have computing power and they have innovation in Silicon Valley and the tech entrepreneurs over there. China has energy, manufacturing. They've been manufacturing most of the things we have here in World West, and they also have talent. Just the AI team, the Meta required with like $1 million sign-on bonuses for those 40 people. They recognize the talent. Some individuals will have huge impact. 20 people of those 40 were from China. So the talent is global. And in EU, we are mainly working with regulation and bureaucracy, and which is stifling us a little bit. But if we can actually tap into the capabilities, if we can build our corporations valid, and if we can address these opportunities, we can actually scale a better future for our kids. This is why I do this. This is why I'm very passionate about learning this as fast as I can, because it's the only way that I can control, at least to have a possible dent in the universe here. Learning. And this is why we also do AI Gothenburg, to empower entrepreneurs, to get with other entrepreneurs to actually build rather than talk, and to produce outcome that's realizing values, real business values for your businesses, for my kids, and for the future. So if you want to learn more about this, please join us building. And 2 quotes I love. My little daughter Saga told me the other day, she had just learned to blink with one eye. Even her mother can't do that. Oh, wow. How did you do that? Yeah, I just do it, Dad. Yeah, that's the spirit. Small entrepreneurs in the making. And we also have this, brave leadership. It requires that you think different. Maybe the most important one. And the exponential mindset to go with this. So that's the super fast takeoff 2026. And hopefully you could bear with me and get at least some nuggets to talk about in the coming months. Thank you so much for listening.